Hi, it's Claire Norwood here for the Property Sisters YouTube channel. We thought that you guys would like to find out a bit more about exactly who the Property Sisters are. So I'm going to start interviewing some women in our group who I think have interesting stories. Now, if you're watching this and haven't yet subscribed to our channel, we'd love it if you could do that now, and make sure that you're the first to hear about market updates and interesting interviews like this one. And so today I'm interviewing the lovely Jess Leader. Jess is based in the Midlands and has been a really important part of Property Sisters from the beginning. So hi Jess, welcome. Tell us who you are and what you do in property.
Hi, thanks for inviting me to come and have a chat with you today. I'm Jess Leader. My company is called Next Level Living, and in property I develop HMOs across the Midlands, and I also enjoy renovating spaces and flipping properties as well. So I work with private investors to help scale and fund the business, and to obviously help grow their funds. And I work with investors, bank lending, and my own funds to grow.
And your HMOs are all based around the Midlands?
Yes, they are. The only property that I have not in the Midlands is a beautiful Regency flat in Brighton, which used to be my home and is now a buy-to-let. But yes.
Right. And so how do you find investors and work with them?
Well, it started as many people's investing journey start. I started with family and friends, and just sharing with them what I do and what I'm offering in terms of returns. And some people wanted to have that opportunity to grow their money without actually doing very much. And from there, it gave me case studies and a bit of a sort of credibility, I suppose. I developed a few properties through that way. And then I was able to confidently sort of go wider and talk more broadly about what I do. And since then, investors have been through different ways, referrals through people who know me, who perhaps don't invest themselves, but know people who have funds available and do want to invest. So I've had referrals, there've been, people that I've worked with have invested. And through social media, I've had some connections for investment as well. So yeah, that's how. I think it's about getting your reputation out there and your offering out there as well.
Yeah. And what drives you to succeed? I know you're very value driven, and that's sort of evolved over time. Tell us about that journey and how that's come about.
Yeah, sure. So as you say, it has changed. So now it is very values driven, whereas at the beginning, I had a very clear objective. I was working very much full time when I first started investing in property. And so my objectives and what was driving me was generating enough cash flow to change my day-to-day life. So it was very kind of, my objectives and my goals were very numbers and stats driven. And that was partly to achieve that, changing my life. And also it was quite ego based. I was quite new, and it was when people still ask questions like, how many properties have you got? And how much money do you make? And all those kinds of ego driven questions. And so that was what I based my goals on. But now it's evolved so much, partly through learning what I enjoy and what I don't enjoy, and partly through things like, a year ago, I was interviewed by Amy Rowlinson for her Focus on Why podcast. And that really helped me to cement my why. And so now I know that my driving force is to develop homes where people flourish. And the more I can scale that, the more people I can create that feeling for. And that is something, the idea of that is such a driving force for me, hugely.
Fantastic. And you're even developing your own home at the moment, aren't you?
Yes, so we live in a home, which is a development. So we bought this a few months ago, quite a few months ago now, here in the Midlands. My partner doesn't work with me in property, but he has a background of having renovated several of his own homes quite considerably. So we bought this last summer. It was pre-auction from a deceased estate. And so, yeah, we live in, it was horrendous. And now it's hopefully beautiful. And we've added a lot of value to it. And so we literally live in and work in property.
I have had a virtual tour of your house and I can vouch for it being gorgeous. You've got fantastic taste.
Thank you. I'm excited we're going to stay in it slightly longer than we planned to. It was meant to be an immediate flip, but we'll stay in it slightly longer. And that's fine because we've created a lovely home, but I'm excited to hand it over to the next family that wants to live here.
And that actually ties in really well with my next question, which is what are you excited and confident about for this coming year? Given everything that's going on, you know, there's a lot of negativity around, but I know you're a very positive person.
Yeah, I'm excited this year about growth. Or two things really. Growth that I have planned. I think, you know, over the years you learn who you want to work with and who you trust. And I feel like now, excuse me, now I've got a really strong network of people who I can work with in terms of, you know, builders, legal teams, conveyancing teams, finance teams, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like I've got the people and the processes in place to help me scale. And I'm excited for working in a values-driven way. You know, the mission of creating homes for people, homes where they can flourish is really a big drive for me. And so I'm excited that cements a lot of passion in what I'm doing. And when I was setting my objectives for the year, I decided to focus on a word instead of numbers being the driving force. And the feeling that I want to have at the end of 2021 is pride. And obviously I have some numbers that will underpin what that means, but it also speaks of how and what value I'm offering throughout the year as I grow. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, I already do feel like that about what's happening, but I'm looking forward to that having more weight to it in 11 months' time.
Brilliant. And I can vouch for the fact that you add serious value to the community. You talked about systems, and I know you've worked really hard to kind of bring a VA into your business, but you also very generously share with the community how you made that work, because it's not obvious to everyone. And I think so many people in our community have been scaling their businesses with your help on that front.
I'm glad to have helped, but I continue to learn. You know, I've developed something that works for me, and I've taken what's worked in my corporate background and tried to apply that. I think, you know, we have so many skills from past lives and past careers that we can make so useful in what we do now. And I've tried to apply a lot of the systemization that I was using in corporate into what I do, but I learned so much. I love chatting with other people about how do you do that, and what systems do you use, and what do you do then, and what platform do you use. I love chatting about that with people. It's geeky, but it helps us learn and improve.
Absolutely. And the more you learn, the more you look back and realize, you know, you could have done it differently. And so my next question is, if you could get into a time machine and go back to the beginning, what would you do differently?
Without doubt, I know straight away my answer to that question, which is I would stop blocking myself. I am naturally quite an analytical and quite a cautious person, and that's fine. That serves investing well, and it's, you know, you need that as well as the go for it kind of style and that balance as well. But I think I allowed that to block me in going for some deals, which now I would definitely have done. And I think that by blocking myself, I didn't have as much momentum in my earlier years as I expected that I would have. Because, you know, in my corporate career, I was a bit of a climber, and I sort of expected the same momentum, and that didn't happen, which chipped at my confidence, which then had the knock-on effect of made me doubt myself more. So it became a vicious cycle, but actually all it was me not needing to put so many blockers in my way. And I think, you know, I've learned that now when you look at things, instead of seeing reasons why not to do something, you have to find ways to make that thing work. And as long as you trust and stress test and due diligence, then you know, you can go for it.
I think that's fantastic advice for anyone starting out. And we're all always starting out, aren't we? But last question, Jess, how do you think your business has changed as a result of being in Property Sisters, if at all?
Oh, it totally has. I mean, directly relating to my answer to the last question, having such having a network of such doers and people who are doing such fantastic things as well. It's so inspiring to see, actually, you know, this is possible for me, this is possible for anyone who does the do, and it's incredibly inspiring, but also on a practical, which G's you up and makes you believe. And then on a practical level, having the confidence to ask stupid questions and always having an answer from someone or some experience from someone, and being able to offer that to others as well. It just gives you such a safety net, as well as the confidence. So it's an emotional and a practical support that has changed me. And also, you know, I've had work opportunities from it as well. I do marketing consultancy still, and my latest project is one that I'm so excited about. It's working in support of a supported living initiative, and I'm so excited to do it. So yeah, opportunities as well.
Brilliant. That's fantastic, Jess. Thank you so much. Before we say goodbye, how can people contact you?
Oh, you can connect with me on Instagram. I'm Jess_Leader. On LinkedIn, I'm Jessica Leader, I think. Or am I Jess? I'm Jessica. And then my website's NL Living for nextlevelliving.co.uk. So any of those.
Fantastic. Jess, thanks for your time today. Great interview.
Thanks for having me. I've enjoyed chatting with you, Claire.